Hello everyone. Welcome to Whispers of Turkish Stars. All the details are inside our video, and if you enjoy our stories, remember to subscribe and share before we dive in. Thank you for being here. Two names who earned a devoted audience after a project they led together, Gökberk Yildirim and Cemre Arda, have suddenly found themselves at the center of heated conversations again. Their recent misstep rattled not only those closest to them but also thousands of fans who have followed their journey from set partners to close confidants. After a tense silence, the pair finally spoke, voicing how sorry they are and acknowledging how the situation spiraled far beyond what they imagined. Their words came after days of intensifying speculation, and their decision to address it head-on has only deepened the discussion around them. From the moment they appeared side by side on screen, the chemistry between Gökberk and Cemre became a talking point in every interview, every behind-the-scenes clip, every magazine profile. It wasn't just what the cameras captured, it was their unforced camaraderie during breaks and rehearsals, the way they championed each other in public and kept it grounded in private. Their reputations were built on discipline and warmth, the image of two professionals who never let the adoration derail their standards. But all it took was one post to cloud that carefully nurtured impression and turn a shared moment into a public storm. This all began with a seemingly simple update on social media. A photo of Gökberk Yildirim and Cemre Arda, taken at an elegant evening event in Istanbul, appeared across their profiles with a short, affectionate caption. In minutes, the comments poured in. The words that had felt harmless to them became a trigger for broad assumptions and sharper accusations. Some readers saw it as a confession dressed in innuendo, a hint that what blossomed during their project had turned into something off-screen. Others accused them of chasing clicks with a deliberately ambiguous message. As the minutes turned into hours and they didn't clarify what they meant, the guessing game only grew louder. Eventually, Gökberk stepped forward with a careful statement. He acknowledged the oversight without deflecting. He said they were truly sorry, that neither of them had intended to feed rumor mills or make light of boundaries. One sentence stood out. He pointed out that a single line online can tilt the entire narrative and that they hadn't anticipated how rapidly it would happen. He admitted their carelessness gave space for confusion and that they owed their loved ones and their audience better judgment. His tone was contrite, steady, and unmistakably protective of those drawn into the chaos without consent. Cemre then followed with her own words, echoing the responsibility they both felt. She emphasized that Gökberk is a friend she trusts and respects, and that the blowback from the misreading hurt them deeply. They had merely wanted to share a joyful slice of their day, a keepsake from a night when work and celebration crossed paths. Yet somewhere between post and perception, the message broke away from its intent. She apologized to the fans who felt misled and to anyone who took the caption as a signal of something it wasn't. What they felt was regret, she said, and a determination to choose their words with sharper care. Their statements divided the digital crowd. Some supporters rushed to defend them, insisting that two bright talents shouldn't be crucified for a clumsy caption and applauding their sincerity in taking responsibility. Others were less forgiving, insisting that public figures who've navigated fame for years should know better than to hand tabloids a ready-made storyline. Threads multiplied, arguments branched into everything from privacy to PR tactics, and the commentary machine churned with its familiar, relentless rhythm. Behind closed doors, the talk in industry circles took another tone. The consensus among producers and network executives, according to whispers making the rounds, was pragmatic. The controversy might scuff their image in the short term, but it wouldn't derail careers supported by years of solid performances. Casting conversations remained intact. Scripts still had their names on them. People who had observed Gökberk and Cemre at work knew what they brought to a set: focus, reliability, a magnetism that lit scenes without overpowering them. Still, the episode was a reminder that a screen presence now extends far beyond the lens. In a joint note released later, they promised to be more deliberate about how they share fragments of their personal moments with a public that reads between every line. They talked about the tightrope between private life and public storytelling and how easily a post can blur what shouldn't be blurred. They said the lesson was hard but necessary and that going forward they would weigh each step, each sentence, against the possible misreadings. They wanted everyone to know that the friendship between them stands, and that their bond has never meant that their audience's trust is expendable. The uproar itself had unfolded like a script they never asked to perform. One picture. A few words. 1,000 explanations supplied by strangers. The pair had left an event buoyed by laughter and familiarity, the kind that comes from months on set and countless scenes played opposite one another. They took the photo in a corner framed by soft lights and the hush of late-night music. It felt, in that exact second, like a memory worth saving. Yet the caption they chose, brief and playful, landed differently once it carried the weight of public attention, and in mere hours the mood shifted from celebratory to defensive. As the comments multiplied, so did the loudest takes. Some called it a friendly snapshot distorted by an audience hungry for a fairy tale. Others swore the pair had dropped a carefully placed breadcrumb, the first step in a reveal designed to stoke anticipation. It didn't help that headlines in the tabloid orbit sharpened the story into a sharper, snappier hook. Publications that thrive on speculation seized the moment, slapping provocative titles over recycled images and breathless paragraphs. By morning, the photo had become a symbol of something bigger, and the people at the center of it, their families, their colleagues, felt the weight of a conversation they hadn't consented to lead. When Gökberk and Cemre finally addressed it, separately and then together, they insisted there was no grand design, only an error in judgment and a reminder that intimacy with fans doesn't remove the need for clarity. They said they never set out to manipulate anyone's hopes or to tease a relationship that wasn't there. The remorse in their statements wasn't theatrical. It reflected fatigue and a sense of responsibility to clean up a mess that had spread faster than any plot twist in their shows. Their messages landed, softened some stances, and yet the digital tide did what it always does, it kept debating. Over the week that followed, the debate turned into fuel for talk shows and entertainment sites. Segments picked apart the photo, the choice of words, even their body language. Op-eds asked big questions about celebrity sincerity in the age of algorithms. None of that stabilized the pressure bearing down on the pair. Friends say the two grew quieter, more protective of their time, more aware of how easily a night of easy laughter could become a week of strained explanations. It takes stamina to ride a rumor out. It takes even more to face it and keep one's softness intact. Sources in the background say phone calls were made and logistics were discussed. What to do about upcoming interviews, how to approach press days without fanning embers into flame, whether to postpone a marketing push or simply address the elephant in every room and move on. The dominant mood among decision-makers remained practical. Social media storms have life cycles. They flare. They churn. They fade. What remains is the work, a tidy script, a good director, co-stars who trust you. Still, even the most supportive allies gently advised an audit of their public habits, a tightening of the boundary lines that separate a shared life from a shared image. In the end, the way forward they outlined was simple. Be selective about captions and timing. Let the project speak louder than the posts. Remember that affection can be felt without needing to be decoded by millions. They said they would continue to stand by each other as teammates and as friends, but with new caution around how their closeness appears when stripped of context. It's a fine line to walk, and they know it now more than ever. They reiterated their appreciation for the love that carried them to this point and promised to honor it with clearer signals, fewer assumptions, and choices that keep trust intact. So a single picture taught a complicated lesson. It reminded everyone watching, and most of all, the two people inside the frame, that the modern stage is borderless, and that stories multiply in places where silence once felt safe. For Gökberk Yildirim and Cemre Arda, the episode will likely recede, the way urgent things do, into the noise of yesterday's news. What will endure is the memory of how quickly warmth can be misread, and how necessary it is to be precise when millions are ready to interpret. They will go back to set, back to marks and cues and scenes crafted with care, and they'll do so with a steadier grip on how much a caption can carry. We've reached the end of our video. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to subscribe to Whispers of Turkish Stars and share it with fellow fans. Until next time, take care and stay tuned for more.